Thank you so much, whether you're here or at home. Appreciate you joining us today. We were sorry we're getting started a little bit late. There's some confusion about where we're supposed to meet today, so we're going to go and get started. I'm Jim Kellner. I'm the president of the local NGH. We also have another board member here.
Joe T.
Yes. What is your position, Joe T?
So fundraising.
Fundraising. Open
Yeah.
up your pocketbooks right now, everybody. So we're going to start raising more. We're going to start raising more money so we can give back to the hypnosis community in more ways. And so she'll be instrumental in helping to raise money, as well as Jody, the person you see that right there, setting up a World Hypnotism Day again. Some of the advantages of NGH are we provide things like this meeting space for everybody to show up, and I think the most important thing was something and I forgot what it was, so never mind. Anyway, without further ado, let's give it up for. So I've known this guy for a long time. We've been friends, colleagues for a long time. We also are the founders of the Pacific Northwest Hypnosis Conference. Hope you all can attend.
Yes.
And
Attendance is required.
attendance is required.
Yeah, what is the other word for that?
Voluntold. All right. Anthony Gitch, everybody.
Yeah, thank you, Jim. Thank you. Well, first I was really honored when you guys asked me to come and do this today, especially because it's right here in my neighborhood. So that makes it even nicer. But anyway, earlier I asked how many of you did actual kind of change work with your clients, and it wasn't because I was trying to figure out what kind of language you were using to do the transformational work or to help create or facilitate whatever it is that's happening behind the scenes. But the reason I was asking is because I'm going to be talking today about a system, a part of the system that we use in the control of, a part of the control system, right? And we're going to talk about imagination games. And imagination games are a way for us as practitioners, as control practitioners. So I haven't even told you about how I've been in hypnosis now for almost 10 years. I started out in the NGH. I started out as a 5-path practitioner. Won a couple of awards with them. Got really involved in a lot of different trainings early on. I became a certified pain management specialist through the I forget, Ron Esslinger's group. So I got involved very quickly, very deep into it. I got involved in the ICBCH. When I decided to become a trainer, I decided to train for the ICBCH over the NGH just because I was able and was required to develop my own training program. So I wrote a 120-hour training program. I was in training development previously, becoming into the world of health and healing. And so I created that program and started working in that. I'm the developer of Mind Spa Hypnotica. I'm developer of a thing called the Thought Game, which is about teaching your clients that their thoughts aren't necessarily based in reality and they don't hold any power over them until they give them the power that they want to give them. I have a method called the Prism Effect, which is a hypnotic method, kind of like mindscaping. In a sense, that's kind of where I got the inspiration from. But since I do a lot of healing works, used to do more healing work with crystals, this is a way to have the client manifest all of the ideas, attributes, anything that has to do with whatever it is they're dealing with or bringing to the table into a crystal. And then we illuminate that crystal from the inside and we explore all of the refractions, right? It's in the answers are in the refractions. And so I've got a list of different things of how that works because I read medicine cards. So there's, a lot of stuff about spiritual side of things, the Ayurvedic color aspect of things when it comes to these refractions and how they work. And so I've developed some really cool tools. I'm the only trainer of the control system in North America. We are an accredited organization through the Certified Complementary or the Complementary Medical Association in the UK. We're the only hypnosis group that has got that qualification. And so what this is where the imagination games come from is from our basic, our consultation. And we use this in our consultation because It gives us insight into the way the client's mind likes to communicate. Because oftentimes, as hypnotists, we throw people into a trance, or we ask them to go into a trance, and then we start providing suggestions. And whether we have collected information from them and we've specifically written something for them, we're still creating suggestions, providing it to a person who is tranced this way, right? They're not interacting with us in the moment necessarily, unless you're doing conversational work. But we don't always know if those suggestions are hitting the right targets, right? And so we do the work that we do, and then we go out and we hope, right? And there's not a lot of way to oftentimes to judge that until they come back, if they come back. Sometimes there's those one and done folks that it's like, nope, you're one, you're done, you're out the door, and I never have checked back again. Did it really work? We don't know, you know. And so this is one of the reasons I love the system, is we've got built-in ways to validate all of the work that we've done and that we're doing. But we don't use trance. We do not use trance. We use these imagination games as a way to develop or to determine, again, how the subconscious mind likes to communicate in a non-trance environment. But here's the fun thing. It is trance. Because what signifies trance? If I can get you to not speak or forget your name without ever inducing trance, is that hypnosis?
Yes.
What constitutes it as hypnosis?
Well, outcome.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Because if you could do it, then they enter into the state in which they could do it.
Right.
Because
Without even recognizing that they've
they
entered the
in
state.
They run the same programs, and then they will do anything else. We need to take them out of programs. And
So now, do you think that we need to have eyes shut and induce in order to create that ability to facilitate the change?
Yeah.
Oh, good. So we're going to have fun today then. So,
Almost like a daydream. Like where you're off.
I just like to call it a conversation.
Well, I'm thinking of, for instance, when I'm gardening, or when someone's really into a hobby, they're in this different state of mind, aren't they?
They are, yeah. And, you know, I think is where some people forget that state of mind doesn't mean that you are not cognitively doing, making decisions, processing. It's just that it's happening at a different kind of a level, right? And so being able to take advantage of all those scenarios is important, I think, in our industry. So the first thing, how many of you use phenomena in order to create change? Hypnotic phenomena.
Can you explain?
I don't do it on purpose.
Okay.
Like I don't try to show a client that I'm trance, but if the arm starts levitating, I will take it.
Right on, right on, right on. Okay, so this is what this is about, right? Because that's what the imagination games are going to do. We're going to build on some stuff, and I'm just going to take you guys through that. And so just get comfortable, because one of the things we're going to start with what's called the chair, or what's called the room, whatever. So I want you guys just to become comfortable for a moment. I want you to close your eyes. And you guys that are on screen, you can do this too. Just close your eyes and relax. And I want you to just imagine or picture yourself walking into a room. It's completely empty at this point. But in a moment, when I say there's going to be a chair there now, as soon as you know what that chair is like, nod your head. Great. Now, I want you to imagine walking up to that chair and getting in that chair and imagining and pretending that it's the most comfortable chair in the world. As soon as you have a really good idea of what it would be like to be in the most comfortable chair in the world, nod your head. Perfect. Now, as you're sitting in that most comfortable chair, just enjoying the heck out of it, a song starts to play. You know it instantly. And as soon as that song is playing in your mind, nod your head. Great. Now, as you're enjoying that song, a smell enters the room. As soon as you know exactly what that odor is, nod your head. Perfect. And as you're enjoying that, hopefully, all of those experiences, you can taste the last thing it was that you had to eat. And as soon as you know what that is and you can taste that in your mouth, go ahead and nod your head. Great. So go ahead and open your eyes. How quickly could you see the chair?
It's
Did you choose the chair or did it just come to you? You had to choose it. Okay. All right. Interesting. Interesting. When it came to moving into the chair and experiencing the comfort of the chair, how many of you could actually feel the chair?
Yeah.
Yeah, you could feel what it was like to be in it. Very good. Very good. All right. And so then it came to the song. How many a song started playing instantly for you? You didn't have to choose it. Give me an idea of some of the songs.
Ram Dass, Unimaginable.
Right on.
Yeah.
I don't know this.
Okay.
I had semi-charmed life. By third.
Right on.
I love rock and roll by Jim Jett for some reason.
Cool, cool, cool. In training, we say, so we always tell clients when we go through this process that there's never a wrong answer. But that's always where we tell them again, if they haven't chosen Africa by Toto, they've made the wrong answer. We don't know why, but we've decided that that's the only right answer there is for that. So then is what we're going to do is we make note of that, right? I would just make note of that. We're going to move on to something a little bit more fun now. We're going to move on to, how many of you know mag fingers? Good. All right. So, and this is exactly what I tell our clients. So we're going to do this just like I would with my clients. So I want you to watch me first, and then you're going to do it. So you're going to bring your hands together. You're going to, where everybody's going to watch me first, and then we'll do it together. So you'll bring your hands together. You'll come up like this, and like a proper little Catholic school child, you're going to stare straight ahead at that little beam ahead, or whatever that guy is. Who is he? Oh, yeah. You're going to put your fingers up like this. You're going to stare straight ahead, and then I'm going to snap my fingers, at which time your fingers are going to automatically come together. This is why. Before you put your hands together, you're going to pretend that there's little powerful magnets at the end of your fingers. Yeah? So you're going to come like this. First, make sure that you got those magnets there. How many are good at pretending? Imagining.
Yep.
Good. So imagine that's there. Put your hands together. Bring it up like this. Stare at that space in between. And I'll snap my fingers, and that's going to activate those magnets for you. So go ahead. Everybody, come together. Hands up. Fingers up. Stare at that space in between. And just allow those fingers to come together all on their own. Don't resist, but don't assist. Good. And once those fingers come together, you can relax your hands. Good. So how many of you helped the fingers come together? How many of it just happened? Good. So we'll just take that note down, right? Now, how many of you understand what's really going on behind this? Because you're hypnotist, right? Jim does, you do. So the rest of us know that this, no matter what's going to happen, those fingers are going to come together, right? Unless they are resisting. That's the only test that I have for resistance is, are they resisting this? Because if they're not allowing that to happen, why not? What's blocking us at this point, right? But they don't understand that. I don't explain that to them. Is what we do is we have them move that magnet down. Now move that magnet into your palms, and imagine that those are really powerful magnets there in the palms of your hands. And you can do this with me at this point. And this one here, once you get that good idea that those magnets are there in the palms of your hands, you're going to let them activate and come together. And you're going to start to rub. And that energy that you're creating, that kinesthetic feeling that's going on, that heat, you're going to pretend that that's magnetism. Now, here's where the trick comes in. You're going to relax your shoulders. You're going to sit up straight. And then when you get that built up nice and calm, nice and well in there, you can feel it. You're going to close your eyes and you're going to put your hands about 6 inches apart. And then I'm going to snap my fingers, allow those magnets to activate, and allow those hands to come on together. You don't have to assist, but you don't have to resist. Drop the shoulders, let them relax, allow those movements to come easily. And once those hands touch, or those fingers touch, you can just allow the hands to drop comfortably into your lap. Good. Good, 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 good. All right. Now, and Stacy, for you, it's not happening, and that's okay, right? So again, this is not a test, right? This tells us, what this tells me is she's not as kinesthetically prone to do this sort of thing, right? Now, this is where it gets fun, because when we do this online, when COVID came along, this next part is our wrist lift. We can do a wrist lift in person. You've probably all done it, but the online version, I find, I actually adopted from one of Mike Mendel's things that he does, the little shelf induction. Everybody put your hand up on an imaginary shelf in front of you. This is what we do with the online version of this. I want you to allow that hand to rest there comfortably. And when it's resting there comfortably, you're not holding it on that imaginary shelf. Just let me know by nodding your head. It's just resting there comfortably on that shelf. Good. In just a moment is what I'm going to do is I'm going to snap my fingers and that shelf is going to disappear and that hand will just remain there floating comfortably in that space. 1, 2, and 3. And that hand can just remain floating comfortably there. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to count from 1 to 3 here in just a moment. And when I get to 3 and not before, that hand is going to start to rise up automatically as if it's been tied to a bunch of helium balloons. So 1, 2, and 3. And just allow that hand to start to rise up, just to become lighter and lighter and lighter, as if tied to a helium balloon, as if those fingers just start to kind of wiggle around on their own and just sort of move upward. And that whole arm can comfortably move up with it. Easily. That's right, just like that. Just like that. Fantastic. And in a moment, I'm going to snap my fingers. That arm is going to stop right where it is. And it's just going to lock right into that position comfortably. And it's just going to stay locked in that position as I count from 1, getting nice and taut, tight, that lock, that elbow locks and that shoulder locks. 2, that becomes more comfortable staying right there locked into that position. And 3 is comfortably locked right into the position where it sits right now. And I want you to try to push that arm down and recognize that you cannot move it. In fact, the more you try to move it, the higher it rises into the air. Go ahead and try to push that hand down and just recognize you cannot move it. Good. And then in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3, and that hand will just relax comfortably and drop into your lap now. 1, 2, and 3. Good. So for all of you, how many of that hand could you not move? It was stuck there. Good, good, good. How did that feel for you? What was the experience like?
Oh, partially resistant, you know, it's like you can get it to move a little bit, but.
Right on, right on. Okay.
Mostly the body's choice, I feel like.
Cool, cool, cool. All right. So now we're going to do the next part. And I want everybody to kind of sit back and relax a little bit, close your eyes. And I want you to relax your eyelids so much that they just won't work. Once you've done that, once you've relaxed your eyelids, all those tiny little muscles around your eyelids, once you've relaxed them so much that the eyelids simply will not open, go ahead and give them a nice test just to make sure they're nice and relaxed. Good. And now in a moment, I'm going to count from 1 to 3. And when I do that, those eyelids are going to become locked down, tight, shut, and you won't be able to open them. 1, 2, and 3. And those eyelids are locked tight, shut down nice and comfortably. And go ahead and give them a nice test just to make sure that they're locked down nice and tight. You can't open them. Good. And I want you to relax and allow that relaxation that you're experiencing there behind your closed eyes to just move up to the top of your head. And you can feel it there, possibly tingling at the crown of your head as it moves down the back of your head, down your neck, down into your jaw. And just allow that feeling of relaxation just to move comfortably into your jaw as it drops down and relaxes. At the count of 3, that jaw will just comfortably lock into place, into that comfortable place it is right now. 1, 2, and 3. And it just locks into that place comfortably. And you can try to speak and recognize that when you try to speak, your jaw simply will not work. It's just comfortably relaxed, locked into that spot. Go ahead and give it a good try and just recognize you cannot speak. Good. Now stop trying and just allow that relaxation to seep back in, that jaw to go back to normal, that hypnosis to move back out of that jaw, back up to the top of the head, possibly creating that tingling sensation again as it moves now back behind those closed eyelids. Just becomes a nice part of relaxation that you can hold on to for the rest of the day as your eyes comfortably open now, feeling refreshed and relaxed. So how many of you couldn't speak? Why didn't you? If you could have, right? There's always the question I ask if they say anything. So how was that for everybody? That was very simple, right? And one of the things that this is nice about for us, this is not a big deal when we're going through this, right? But imagine if you're a client and you've never experienced hypnosis, you've never experienced anything, and now all of a sudden you're experiencing this without having to be asleep. Right? Now we're going to add to this because this is really where the important part comes in. I want everybody to put your hands up on the table like this, and I want everybody to wiggle their fingers. Good. And yet, relax them. And now, so you all know what it feels like for you to wiggle your fingers, yeah? I want you each to reach over to somebody else, obviously ask permission to touch them. Do I have permission to touch you? So you know what it feels like for you to wiggle your fingers. This is what it feels like if I wiggle your fingers. Yeah? Good, good, good. So everybody feels what it feels like to wiggle somebody else's finger. So you know what and there's a reason that we do this. I want you to know, yes, I want you to know the reason we do that is they get the idea of what it feels like when they're doing it and when someone else is doing it, right? And so once you've done that, we go ahead and I do that. I have them wiggle their fingers. If they're online, I have them doing this so I can see their fingers, right? Right. Or I have, if they've got a good camera, I'll have them shine it down on their fingers. But so now we have, go ahead and put your fingers on, Jim. Okay, everybody wiggle, wiggle, wiggle. So now how many of you have driven a car? And how many of you have slammed on brakes in a vehicle that are not on your side of the car? Okay, good. How many of you have started to trip and fall and your arms are thrown out in front of you to protect yourself? Yeah, we've all experienced these things, right? It's just it's the primal instinct of the subconscious mind to protect us. It's a prime directive, right? So that is the motor functions being taken over by the subconscious in order to run a program. Yeah, we're specifically through this part asking the subconscious to take control of the motor functions and talk to us, right? So everybody wiggle, wiggle, wiggle again. And now speaking to the subconscious mind of all of the people who's in the room here, I'm not going to name each person, but I'd really like any part of the subconscious mind that is listening to go ahead and choose any finger or thumb on either one of those hands and give me a nice, clear yes response now. Okay, good. Did you get? Good, okay. 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 We got when the send. And what's your name again?
James.
James. Okay. Speaking to any part of James's subconscious mind that's currently paying attention, which it always is. I was like that part to go ahead and choose any one of those fingers and any one of those thumbs or any one of those thumbs and go ahead and give me a nice, clear yes response now. And I didn't even have to, did you choose that intentionally or did it just happen? Okay, perfect. So speaking to that same part of the subconscious mind of each of the people that just had that experience, Anna, you didn't get one, did you? So speaking to Anna's subconscious mind in particular here, while the other parts are listening, paying attention and learning, I would like any part of Anna's subconscious mind to go ahead and choose any one of those fingers or any one of those thumbs on either one of those hands and give me a nice, clear yes response. Now, please.
They just don't speak to me
Okay.
at all ever.
Okay, so now there's one person out of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of us,
Yeah.
right? That all the rest of us have got a response. I don't know what's going on online, but this is good, right? So we've got a yes response. Is what we would do now is I would get a no response. We can go ahead and relax now. Now we've taken them through this process, right? We've done this one-on-one. We've talked about each one of these things as we've gone through it. I've taken my little notes about them. Now I know very specifically, if I have got this going on and I haven't had to induce trance, and let me tell you what, during the vaccine rollout, you know what trypanophobia is, yeah? It's fear of needles. My business did really well then, right? Because this was a super simple, this is the best way, in my opinion, to do parts therapy that has ever been brought around. Because what I do with people is when they come in, and once I've got that established, if you've never experienced hypnosis, you're afraid of hypnosis, you don't understand it, you're thinking that you're going to get what's happening at the fair, and all of a sudden I've got your body parts answering questions, right? That locks them in as a client. It locks them in because they know specifically that I am creating a direct line of communication with the subconscious part of their mind. So rather than trying to, you know, with hypnosis, we do this. Here's the conscious mind, here's the subconscious mind. Hypnosis, we do this. We lower the or the conscious mind below the subconscious threshold. Yeah. We take them into a state of somnambulism. Yeah. What we do with control and with this sort of a method is we create what we call subconscious dominance. We take everything that's inside the building that's being protected by the security guard and we move it outside. That way we don't have the interference of the security guard, right? Now we don't have to worry about anything from the critical faculty because we've created a childlike play of communication between the part that's doing the unhelpful behavior and myself. And when we can do that, it's like all clients, I teach all my clients, the part, whatever's happening, it's never out to sink the ship, so to speak, right? I use a ship analogy in the work that I do. And the crew's never out to sink the ship, right? The crew is only doing their specific tasks. They're not interested in other people's tasks or the other crew members' task, right? So again, it comes down to parts work. What is it? What do we need to do in order to bring this part back into the team, right? We never want to get rid of anything. Einstein said it best, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It can only be turned into something different. So we do not get rid of parts. We do not punish things. We always are working at bringing them back into everybody as a whole, yeah? And so this is a really amazing way to do that because it gives us that direct access. So who wants to do this with each other and in little teams here, kind of walk each other through that? Some of those aspects of that, and I'll help you as you go if you're interested. Or do you have any questions about why we do it that way, that sort of thing? Okay, welcome.
I've been going in circles around this block for about 20 minutes.
Well,
So I'm sorry.
that's okay.
Yeah, it's 10:50.
Oh no.
Wrong library.
Up on 35th?
Doesn't show it. Oh, can't see it.
No, I know.
It's in all these blocks.
And I don't know if the parking is for the library or not.
It's okay.
Oh, okay. Good to know that now.
We'll just keep this space.
Yeah, sure. Okay, so I'm sorry to interrupt. And I'm
No,
sorry
you're
that I
totally
wasn't
okay.
ready,
No, in
so I
fact,
was ready to go home.
so if there's no questions, who wants to go ahead? And I'd like to see you guys utilize some of this. Or let's, better yet, how can you utilize this? What aspects of this can you utilize in your practice possibly?
I like the idea of, a lot of people ask me, do you do muscle testing for the foods that you're sensitive to? And so I think this would be a really great way to tap in and ask your subconscious mind if it will accept a certain food.
You want to go one up on that?
Yeah.
So I specialize in gut issues. It's the three things I do: gut issues, anxiety. That's my big things.
Okay.
And IBS, IBD, Crohn's. I've done a lot of that stuff. I work with a couple specialists here in the area. And it is one of the easiest things in the world to work with control. And so with one of the gals that I was actually a case study for me. She went through the three-step process, and the night that we did the initial change work, I said, you go out and you test. Let's go out and see what you can eat and start doing things. You need to add things in slowly, because grapes would send her to the ER, right? She was really underweight. She was not healthy. She couldn't eat anything. And they didn't know what was going on. So the night, because we didn't know exactly what a safe way would be to reintroduce the foods, right? I came up with I think was a rather ingenious idea. And I asked the part that I'd been working with, if there's something that is enticing that Brittany would normally eat in the past that has been unsafe up until now, will you please demonstrate that it's safe to eat with a heavy salivation? Yes. Great. So off she went. She came back. So now in session 2, what we do after we do our change work, we send them off to test everything. And she came back, and I always start like this. This is 0. I didn't get any of the changes I was looking for. This is 10. I got all of the changes I was looking for. And I said, where do I stop? And she goes, 20. Right? Because she went out that night, and she was at one of the taco trucks, because she was Bozeman, Montana, college girl, out with their friends, doing the kind of things that they do. And I mean, she talks in her testimonial, there were times that she would cry because she would look at her pantry and there was nothing she could eat because it would make her sick. And so she's at this taco truck, and she's reading the menu, and she comes across something that in the past she wouldn't be able to eat because of the corn that was in it, and some of the meat and this and that. And her mouth just started salivating. She says she started to cry on the spot almost, and she ordered that, and she ate it. She didn't have any problems. And since then, she sent me a picture of what she ate for Thanksgiving that year. That was just before Thanksgiving. And she's put on weight. She's a healthy young lady now. And I've got another gal that when I ask her to test it, I always, I'm very, very careful in how I have them do that, because of course I'm not a doctor, and I don't, it's not for me to write. And this one gal, she went out and she went immediately to lobster. And I'm just like, oh my God, but she's fine. She's not missing work anymore. And so, yeah, it's one of the things I love working with the most is chronic gut issues. And it's because it really is one of the simplest things for us to help alleviate. And a lot of that is that gut brain connection that goes on. And I do a little bit of educating about that, and I have them watch a few, documentaries and that sort of stuff, right? I'm like, you might be interested in this and that. So to help them understand what's going on even more in their mind, right? I'm always educating about how their mind is working in an Ayurvedic aspect, because again, that's in my scope of practice. And so I can help them understand that consciousness level on a kind of a different vibe. Yeah. So have them do that. Set in a salivation ticket.
For me.
Oh, well, there you go. Set in a salivation, trigger. See if it works for you.
Yeah, the consciousness is, the vibration has changed so much that I feel like my body doesn't like dense foods anymore. Not like I used to. It's just my vibration is getting higher, and therefore I sense that my body likes higher vibrational foods. And so there are times when I'm like, oh, I'd like to have that, but then the histamine happens. I'm like, okay, well, that's.
Well, if the histamine is happening, that could be well, anyway, we won't go into that.
Yeah.
That's I have my own opinion about that, because that's a subconscious reaction, like blushing or anything else.
Yeah.
There's something that is suggesting to you that isn't appropriate, but is that a conscious suggestion because you're convinced maybe that you are supposed to be eating on a higher vibrational level, so it's creating that? Or is it creating it because you're supposed to be doing that? Where does the loop begin?
Right.
I do pendulum.
Yeah.
Ah,
Yeah.
Me
I do
yes,
pendulum also.
yeah.
and gives me yes, and I say, give me no. Gives me no.
Yeah. Good old muscle testing.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do with food. I'm unsure. should I eat this? Should I eat this? And I always.
Right on.
Hey,
So yeah, that's what I had to offer today, was just the imagination games and how we can use those to kind of help establish, because when we go through those, if you recognize, we hit on all 5 senses, right? And there have been people that I have worked with before that we couldn't get any ideomotor stuff done with. We couldn't get them a chair. They just kept creating a chair. Creating a chair is not coming from the subconscious mind. That's why I say whatever comes into your mind first, because if we're choosing something, that's not the connection I'm attempting to make, right? And so that's how we differentiate between them. But we don't tell them, again, we don't let them in on what it is that we're doing, so to speak, because we don't want them to start to second guess what they're supposed to do. Because remember, even though they're coming to us and paying us good money to help facilitate whatever changes they're looking for, they are also, once they have given us that money and once they have contacted us, they have already put themselves into the position where they are attempting to please us. And so we have to make sure that they are always being 100% honest and not just saying what they think it is that they're supposed to be saying and that they're supposed to be experiencing, right? And we need to make a safe enough space that they can openly, suggest that that is not what they're experiencing. Yeah.
My chair is not a chair I would have chosen.
Well, and it's funny because for me, there's some of those things that I can't do very well. But like I was saying, there was one gal, she couldn't get IMRs, but she had smells like this. Wet dog was no, and the smell of her grandmother's house was yes, right? And we were able to facilitate her change in that method. It wasn't very easy, but we were able to get it done. Of course, there's more to it than just that. A lot more to it, but there's that piece of it anyway, the consultation piece of it. And anybody who wants to learn the control system, like I said, I am the only trainer here in North America. And it is probably one of the most affordable trainings that there is. We let you in at $1,000, and I charge $1,400 for the application of the system. And its clients are thrilled to death with it. So, if anybody's interested in information, just let me know. We do 4 half days in the morning, like a Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday from 9 to 1. And then we skip a week so you can practice the hypnosis part of it. And then we go back for another 4 days, half days in the morning. So, and the other thing that we do that other people don't do, we're required to do 5 case studies before you're qualified. And that's because of the requirements that we have through the Complementary Medical Association in the UK. We're required to, have you do those case studies. You sit down for a 2-hour review. But we also have the best support system of anybody in the industry, because we have every month I have what's called a practitioner forum. And it's 3 hours. We come, and all of the control practitioners from around the world, whoever wants to attend the one that I put on, they all come and we talk about their practice. We talk about clients. We talk about how control is, it's control, focused, but it's a support system that isn't available in a lot of other realms when it comes to this industry. So.
What if everybody know how to get a hold of you?
Excel Hypnosis is the name of my business. In fact, I've got cards if anybody wants some. But it's just Anthony, ANTHONY, at excelhypnosis.com. You just pass those around. EXCELHYPNOSIS.com. And yeah, I do, I incorporate mentalism into the work that I do. I do a lot of public speaking, mostly about how the mind works and our thoughts. And that's where thought games come into a lot of the stuff that I do with what I created Thought Game for. So yeah, I'm involved in a lot of different areas. And any of you who are interested in possibly, thank you, looking at becoming a member of the committee or looking to apply to become a member of the Department of Health Certified Counselors and Hypnotherapists Advisory Committee, let me know, because we need there's another hypnotherapist position open. But it is a total time commitment.
I've spoken to him, but I don't think it's for me. But I would say, and I don't know if Anthony wants to facilitate this, or I can just call up Drew or something, but the public, all of us, anyone can watch those meetings. They broadcast them.
Yeah.
So there is a link available. You just get on their list. I'll follow up with that and get that out to everybody. I'll post it like in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest Hypnotist group. And also I'll have Danny send it around too. So you can watch all the fun that Anthony's having.
Yeah, I was sitting there that first day going, oh my God, what have I done?
That's a really good promotion there, Anthony.
No, it is interesting. It's just, you know.
Thank you so much for attending this virtual or online. Want everybody to know that we do have a new website coming soon. We're excited about that. Jody, myself, and Faith Marshall are trying to get that together. It'll be ngh-wa.org. We expect to launch that within the next month, I think. And I finally remembered what it was, because we have this whole list of benefits of joining the local organization. What I've heard recently from two different people is after I joined the organization, I really felt like family. And I thought that was really pretty cool. So yeah, come join the family. It's still a small
I
family.
was saying that last night too.
Yeah, you were one of them.
I-
Yes, you were one of the two. Thanks, everybody.
Yeah, and remember, the conference is coming up. Please support us with this conference. Jim and I are really working hard.